And now help me welcome student BARAA SULAMI from Al-Hatim Secondary School. His topic is motivations and experience in the United States.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everybody and good morning. Today I came here to talk about my experience in the United States in motivations. But before I start, I want to introduce myself. My name is BARAA SULAMI from Al-Hatim High School at the East office. So here's my introduction for today. I'm going to talk about a lot of points. And one of them is my experience at the American airport. Also, I'm going to talk about my first day in the United States. Also, I'm going to talk about my education experience in my English language and sports and things that I did in the United States. So let's start with my experience at the airport. Before I went to the United States, I draw a picture in my mind that Americans don't like people from Saudi Arabia. I draw a picture in my mind that Americans don't like Middle Easterners or Muslims. But that picture changed when I got to the airport, my first day in the United States. I see the cop was smiling in my face. He was welcoming me to the United States. He said, welcome, welcome aboard. And he doesn't care what kind of religion I am. He doesn't care what kind of color I am. They only care about your treatment with them. They will treat you back as you treat them. Also kindness to children. It was me and my dad and my two little brothers. We were sitting at the immigration in a line waiting for our bags. And we were probably sitting like for 2 hours. And the cops saw us. So my little brothers were crying and they were getting on the ground. And he told my dad, you can go in the front of the line because of the kids. They were kind of the kids. And he took us to the front of the line, not because he knows my dad or anything, but he saw the kids and he was nice and kind to them. My first day in the United States, how people thought I'm from. When I got to the school at the first day, people were asking me, where are you from? And I was proudly saying that I'm from Saudi Arabia. But everybody was amazed. He was like, Saudi Arabia, is this a state in the United States? I was amazed by that nobody knows Saudi Arabia. I mean, not all of them, but some of them. What did I do on my first day? My dad took me to the high school. I signed down my credits. I met the counselor and the principal. He told me to do a lot of things and avoid a lot of things. And I went to the tour in the United States. Also missing my family and country. You know, the first day that you're trying to sleep in a new country, in a new place, in a new house. You know that feeling is that you want to miss your family, missing your old friends, the mosque you used to pray in, the streets of Saudi Arabia, my house. And I could not sleep. I was crying that night, and it was a hard moment that I passed it. Also going on a tour in the city. My dad took us at the river by the path. We were walking at the river. I saw the river, I saw the water, you know, everything in there. We went to the restaurants. He took us on a tour in the college, at the high school, stadiums. It was amazing. Here's my friend to the left. My friend's name is Zakiah Saltzman. He's a Christian man. He was welcoming me at the first day. He told me a lot of things that I should do and a lot of things that I should avoid because I was new in the country. I didn't know the cultures, I didn't know anything, but he was treating me really good, and he was one of my best friends for 2 years. And that's with me and my friends at the gym. He's wearing his uniform. He was playing for the basketball team, and I was supporting him. It was a hard night because we won by only 1 point. He's one of my friends at the gym at the same night. It was a basketball game between our school and the school that beside us. We won by 1 point. It was 76-75 or 76. Here's me in skating. Before I went to the United States, I didn't know a lot of sports. I only knew soccer. But when I went there, people told me about a lot of sports. They told me about baseball, basketball, football, baseball, softball, running, cross country. And then I skated and I tried to do it and I jumped, and that's me at the school. Here's my brother at the restaurant, so Paneraz at the restaurant. We were drinking coffee after we got a huge, huge meal. So here's the flowers by the river. Here's the river that I was walking in the first day. Here's the river. You know, that thing behind the bridge is the library. It's free library that you can read books, get on the internet. Here's me bicycling by the river. It was a good weather. I took my bicycle and I was walking in the path. Here's the school that I studied in. It's called Athens High School. Education. What did I do on my first day at school? The first day I went to school, I signed up at the soccer team. And I went to the counselor, did all my credits. I had 9 periods a day. I go to school at 7 a.m., get back home at 2:45. The school system there, how is the school system in the United States, or especially the school that I studied in? They have 9 periods. Each period is 50 minutes. But I wake up at 6:30, get a shower, get my clothes in, and then the bus come to the house, and I get on the bus. I get to school by 7:30. So I have 15 minutes to get my things done. I go to the locker, put my jackets on, put my stuff, because sometimes it's cold and snowing. So I take my stuff and put it in the locker. At 7:55, the first period starts. It was American history. So you go from the first period until 4th, you study, and then you have lunchtime, and then you complete it 5th, 6th, 7th, and then 9th. But for me as an international student, after I finish school at 2:45, my American friends, they go to their house. But for me, I go to an English class, learn grammars, reading, speaking, listening, until 4. It's hard time, like you can say 11 hours of studying. You know how teachers deal with us. The school that I studied in, it was 700 students. They don't treat everybody the same. They treat every single one as a special treatment. They treat you as big as your mind, as yourself. Not all the same treatment as we do here. Food at school, they have 2 periods. 2 periods of food. They have the breakfast at the morning at 7 a.m. and they have the lunch period at 11. You get to the cafeteria, you, the teacher, your friends, the cleaners, workers, principal, counselor, they all eat from the same place at the cafeteria. You get in the cafeteria, you pay $245, you get your plate, get any kind of solids, milk, juices, burgers, all kind of food for only $245. You can say 8 reals. English language, how did I learn English? Before I went to the United States, my language was 0 on the left. I was really bad in English, I was terrible. When I went to the airport the first day, the cop was asking me for my passport. I didn't know what to reply. I was looking at my dad and I was laughing. I didn't know what he wanted, but then my dad told me he wants your passport. But when I went there, I watched movies, listened to music, surround myself with American people so I get the accent and the language at the same time. How did I learn the American accent? I mean, you can say, you know, all these college people that go to the United States or Australia or British, they study with Japanese people, study with Chinese, with international. But for me, as a teenager in the high school, I study with Americans. I surround myself with Americans, teachers. I get the language very fast, and you can say at the first 4 months, I probably can speak fluently. And how did I motivate myself to learn English? It was a hard step that I could motivate myself. After 3 weeks, I gave up. But at the end, I gave myself a reward. I told myself, if I get English done in 5 or 6 months, I will reward myself to go to Disneyland. And I'll reward myself, I go to the theater or the cinema and watch a movie. So if you want to make something go for good, you have to reward yourself with a good thing. Sports in the United States. Loving sports, how Americans love sports. The most popular sports in America, you can say American football, not our football, the foot that they're running with it. American football and basketball is the majority of people love basketball and football. As I told you before, I didn't know any sport but soccer. But I went to the United States, I learned baseball, softball, basketball, cross country, swimming, and a lot of things that I didn't know about it. And the sports in school, like how Americans take care of sports. They have probably 12 teams of sports in the same school for boys and girls. They have coaches, all kind of doctors at the same school. So they love and take care of sports at schools. You know in America that if you graduate from high school, you want to go to college, you pay money, you pay tuitions for them. But if you are good at you can say if you are good at soccer, they take you as a player and you study for free. This is why they take care of sport. The most popular sports in the United States, you can say basketball, American football, and probably baseball. Things that I did in the United States, meeting the President of the United States. I did not meet him personally, but in 2012, it was the American elections between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. The state that I studied in called Ohio. It's probably 6 hours away from New York. But Barack Obama came to the college that my dad studied in, and Mitt Romney, his opponent, went to Ohio State University. It was amazing that I could see the most strongest man in front of my eyes, Barack Obama, in front of my eyes. And I will see his picture after this slide. And I went to Disneyland, at the Orlando, at Florida. This is one of my rewards. After I learned English at the summer, I went to Disneyland. Only paid $150, and I played every single game in there. It was a fun day. And going to the theaters. If you want to go to the theaters there, they have cinemas. I watch every recent movies at the cinema. I only pay probably $4 for a ticket. Get your popcorn ready and your Pepsi, and you watch a movie. And going to the getting the American license. I mean, each state in the United States have different rules. If you want to go like to California, Los Angeles, you get the license by 18 years old. But in the state that I studied in, it was like small state, so there's not much traffic. If you're 16 years old, you get the American license. And 15 and a half, they give you a permit, you drive with your parents. After 6 months, when you get to 16 years old, you take a test, and they give you the license. Here's one of the pictures that Barack Obama, when he came to the state in front of my eyes. It was saying, "Forward Barack Obama," when he got the president. Here's a picture he was waving. Here's the audience. There probably was 22,000 at the audience. And me and my dad and my older brother was one of them. So, can I play the sound? Okay, here's the motivation speech. Before I want to end, I want to give you guys tips and advices that you should do. The first thing, if you want to be motivated in everything that you should do, always be with God, and He will be with you back. This is a really, really important slide. The second one, always surround yourself with those people who motivate you. Those people who give you the disadvantages, bad things about you, so you can take it, make yourself a better person. Third thing, don't you never ever give up. All those people you see at the media, the players, the actors, at the movies, they all tried a million times and they failed. But at the end they made it truth because they tried and tried and then they failed. But at the last time, I promise you, you'll make it. That's all I had for today. Thank you everybody for listening and cooperation. Before I want to end, can you please let me thank the English Language Department community for having me and plant the confidence in myself to speak in front of you guys. And I want to thank my high school, my principal, my father and my mother and my brothers, the family. And at the end, believe in yourself. Thank you very much.